Hello, you guys. I'm getting ready to go out on my front porch. I have been busting my ass all day. Well, first of all, I stayed up super late last night, and I finished Julie Murphy's Ramona Blue, which I loved. Would you like to know what it smells like in my house right now? I thought I'd bring this over and show you. Blackberry Merlot. I have a whole drawer of all of those things. But that one is my favorite. I always buy them when I go to Meijer because they're $2. Why wouldn't you? And they smell up the whole house. I want to get another one of those things for over there and one upstairs because, literally, they smell so good. Can I just tell you what I've been doing today? Let me see if I turn this over. So look, I cleaned my whole little book area out here. And then I have cleaned the entire house. I dusted everything, the floor and everything. Made my desk area and Alex's little work area over there so nice. So everybody always laughs at this painting of the woman's butt. My stepmom did that in her art class. Rearranged some of my books, dusted down there, everything. Those things have to go upstairs, the beach towel from the pool, and then all kind of stuff. But dusted right there. Hi, Pee-Pee. Pee-Pee is sleeping upstairs right now. And then I have been reading outside today because I'm reading Patrick Ness's A Monster Calls. That's my book to read in one day. I'm on page 85. So I have about 120 pages left. I'm going to go to the pool in just a second, and then I'm going to live stream. But I wanted to show you guys a couple things. First of all, I got my Hunt a Killer box. My second one, because they didn't cancel my subscription when I asked them to. I would not recommend buying it. I think it's a piece of junk for $30, but what would I know, I guess. I'll be throwing that right in the trash unless there's a notebook in it. I am actually going to do a review video of it, though, for my BookTube channel if you want to see what's inside of it. Because I thought, well, I've now spent $60 and got nothing on it, which really pisses me off. Really pisses me off. The other thing I wanted to show you, and it doesn't have on here who sent this to me, so I have no idea why. There's no note in it, nothing. But probably because I talk about healthy eating all the time. Somebody sent me this book, Eat Fat, Get Thin, Why the Fat We Eat is the Key to Sustained Weight Loss and Vibrant Health by Mark Hyman. So thank you, whoever sent that to me. I'm very appreciative of that. Anybody that wants to send me the fit teas or anything to try weight loss wise, I would love that. You know I'm on a diet right now. Day 3. Then, this is the best. Deanna, I don't know how I'm going to show you this. I'm going to take it down here. Deanna sent me, oh my god, look. Literally every Goosebump book. And what's so funny is, and then one Stephen King book. And she said she got them at Goodwill. So Deanna, thank you so much. That was awesome. I have not ever read a Goosebumps book. So this is literally going to be my October. I can't believe it. So cool. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, can you believe that? I opened that box. I lost my shit. I was like, this is crazy. And then she also has in here, what are these books? A Wolf at the Door and Other Retold Fairy Tales. Wolf Brother. National bestseller. Thank you so much, Deanna. So yeah, that's awesome. So I'm going to go read for a little bit and then go to the pool. And then I'm going to do a live stream. And I think that's about it. And I shall be back later. Hello. Okay, I cannot even begin to tell you guys how tired I am. So this will not be a long vlog. This will be a really short vlog probably today. I've done a little bit already. I vlogged earlier from my kitchen, but I went to the pool and I was up there for 20 minutes, not very long, and I played around in the pool and swam some laps and did some handstands, and I just was exhausted after that. I love to take a nap after the pool, but I came back and I went on YouNow for a little bit over 2 hours, and then I've been sitting outside. I got done with that at 10:15, 10:30, and it is now 1:57. So I've been reading ever since then. So almost 3 hours of reading, a little bit over that. My eyes are really tired. I'm reading for Booktubeathon. I finished A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, and I think that's part of it too. So let me tell you what I did today, and then I'll get to that. So I made the videos. I showed you guys the after part of that, and then what did I do after that? And then I went to the pool. I feel like I did something before that. And then I went to the pool, and then I came home and I did the live stream. And then and Alex came home like as I was doing the live stream. So I went and I talked to him for a little bit. He watched Game of Thrones and 2 episodes of The Real Housewives of Orange County, and then he went to bed. And then I read outside. I did this Booktubeathon sprints from, there's a bug in here, from 11 to 1. I did the sprint. They do like sprints on it. And so anyway, I did those. And get out of this car, you stupid bug. And I finished Monster Calls. Okay, so the book is like really good. It's funny in parts. It's funny how the monster and the boy talk to each other, but like it's very sad and very reminiscent of a period of my life, and that's what I'll say, because I think everybody should read this book. It's fantastic. It's definitely a contemporary classic. My bug is still in here. But it's just super, super draining and emotional, especially when you like I would say the last third. And but it's a really quick read. I'm so proud of myself. So one of the challenges, read a book in 1 day in 24 hours, and I actually read it like in exactly 24 hours. I started it at like 12:30 last night. I finished it at like exactly, it was 12:28. I finished it. So. And I didn't really read that hard. Like, I read like 30 pages last night, and then like I just sat on the front porch today and read like 50 pages, and then I read the rest of it tonight. So it was a really short read, very good, and the pictures are beautiful in it too. It was just a heart-wrenching story, you know? And then I read a little bit of Eliza and Her Monsters, which I'm really liking, but I was like so tired. I wanted to read more of it. I read like 2 chapters more. And then I read like 2 or 3 chapters of Highly Illogical Behavior. And then I read 2 chapters of Windfall by Jennifer Smith. I also started today Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, which is almost 16 hours. But I'm like, I listened to like 40 minutes of that. It's actually really good. It's not like something I listen to, it's fantasy, and I don't really listen to that. I think it's fantasy or world building. I don't know what people call those, but anyway. It's not like my favorite thing to read, but I really like it. So when I get done vlogging, I'm gonna listen to probably a half an hour of that and then go to bed a little early tonight. I mean, a little early, it's 2 o'clock already. I have a meeting tomorrow at 1. With some people, and then that's it. So, and then Alex has his individual counseling session tomorrow, because we go like back and forth. I don't think I have mine until next Monday. I'm gonna have him check for me tomorrow. Stupid bug. And then next week we have our marriage counseling. People were asking me tonight in my YouNow stream, they were like, oh, by the way, if you're watching this, on Friday, this Friday, I will be doing a pajama party YouNow live stream from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody come. It's going to be a lot of fun. I may go on even longer. I may do it from 8 to 11. We'll just have to see. But all of these people were asking me, like, how's marriage counseling going? How's marriage? I mean, it's fantastic, you guys. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm trying to be really protective of the things that we're talking about on there, but, like, one of the things is that, like, Alex is not, he's very guarded with his feelings, even towards me, or even with me, and not, like, feelings like I love you feelings or whatever, but, like, opening up about being, like, sad about things in his life, and, or ways that he is, like, anyway, he's just really opening up to me. And like we laid in bed tonight and just kind of held hands, and he talked to me about some things that he was upset about. And, you know, it was just, it's like that's, I don't know, I've had some wonderful relationships, but that's like the relationship I always wanted, you know? And our marriage hasn't been easy. We've had some real shit, but to lay in bed and hold my husband's hand and have him tell me, you know, that it's just some shit in his life, you know? And I think that's really what marriage is about getting, you know, through shit together. And hearing some truth. It was interesting because I was reading a Monster Calls and I finished it, and then I went upstairs. I was very upset when I went upstairs. And this book just opened me emotionally up tonight. So I was laying there, and I don't know, we just had the neatest talk tonight, you know? And it's a fly. Anyway, we just had the neatest talk, and I love that, you know, like, my past 2 relationships, I've never had that, like, genuine truth. And in the book, they talk a lot about what is your truth, you know, like, I don't know. I felt like it was a paramount moment in our marriage tonight. It was kind of cool. It was just, you know, it was just brief. But so yes, marriage counseling is helping a lot. It's helping us communicate. It's helping us to open up to each other. You know, and I think 2 things happen in relationships. I think either you get like super comfortable with each other and you like become each other's best friends, or you become super comfortable with each other. This stupid, is that bug trying to tell me a lesson or teach me a lesson or something? I mean, flies don't really usually ever come on you. There's bugs around you. I think people either get really comfortable. I know somebody will say, oh, that's your mother or something. When people say that kind of stuff to me, I have to be honest with you, it kind of freaks me out a little bit. I'm like, my mother's not a fly. If she was going to come back, she'd come back as a little something a little bit more classy than that. But anyway, I think people in marriages over time, I think 3 things happen. Either you keep the passion alive and your intimacy and sex level is great and you guys just become closer and closer best friends through time and you build your lives together, and I think that's awesome, that's amazing. I think that happens to very few couples. I think ideally that's what we all want, but I don't think that's the truth of what's really out there. I think that's what Alex and I want so bad, is to have that relationship, you know? But I think so many people think that that's that movie fairy tale kind of idealistic, The Notebook kind of thing that's out there, when that's not it, you know? And I think that's A. I think B, the other option is that you become closer and closer best friends, but then like the intimacy kind of goes away. Or I think third, you become like roommates. And, you know, I think we saw ourselves going in one of those 2 directions, and it's scary, you know, like, I mean, I know people don't really want to know this, but like, here's just the fact of the matter, because I don't think we talk about sex enough. You know, I think in our relationship, we either have too much sex or no sex at all. I mean, it's either like we go like weeks without having sex, or we have a lot of sex in 1 week. But there's no like balance to it. And so that's one of the things that we've really been working on, is intimacy in our relationship and balancing that stuff out, because I think physical intimacy is important to a relationship. And definitely so does my husband. So, you know, like, it's been exercise. That's why, like, if you've heard me talk about the dates that we've been going on, like, we've been going on more romantic dates, because those are important, instead of us just like going to our 3. This is something that is like, that our counselors pointed out to us, that when it first was brought up, thought it was such a stupid issue, and it has really been probably like one of the biggest pieces of marriage advice and marriage changing things, is that we go out to eat a lot. So we consistently would go to like the same 2 or 3 places. Champs, Cheesecake Factory, Puccini's. We would just go to the same place, Basbo's Pizza, over and over and over and over again, right? And what we would do is, it'd be like my turn to pay one time, his turn to pay the next time. But it was really just to eat instead of going on dates. And a date would be where one of us says to the other one, be ready at such and such time. You know, like, I'm gonna drive, I'm gonna be, you know, I've got it all planned out, and here's what you're gonna do. You just come along. I'm gonna pay, I'm gonna, you know, it doesn't really matter. And it doesn't matter how expensive or how, you know, it isn't. And like, even for one of them, like, I wanted to take Alex out on a date, but I didn't really know what to do. And so I took us to this Italian restaurant that we had always talked about, Mama Carola's. And then that was the night that we went and saw a movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And we had a wonderful date, you know, because it was something that we don't typically do on like a Saturday night. I hate going to the movie theater on a Saturday night. And I think he was really excited that we actually went to the movies on a Saturday night. It was me stepping outside of my comfort zone for him, you know? But like, we've tried a lot of new restaurants, and I think mixing it up and making it more of like a date instead of like, let's just grab dinner, really is a huge issue. Like, it's really paramount, you know, to how we view that time together. Like, we're more protective of it when it's a date versus let's just go grab dinner. So that would be something that I would suggest to couples, that if you find yourself just having dinner, you know what I mean, and you can even like spice it up at home, you know, like that was one of the things our counselor said to us, is that, you know, like, it doesn't have to be like, let's sit at the dinner table every night, which I think is great for families, but, you know, you could have a picnic, you could go sit outside, you know, you could grill out one night, you know, mix it up so it's different, because I think that's the art of keeping a marriage or a relationship intact. Is, you know, I am such a, you know, a creature of comfort that like, I just get used to the same shit over and over and over again. I get very comfortable in that. And Alex needs something new, right? So like, if we're not like, if he's not meeting my needs, and this is where the love languages comes in, if you guys have ever read the 5 love languages, you know, if we're not like, if he's not meeting my needs as far as creature comforts, because there are some things that I like, it's really nice that he does for me that make me feel safe and comfortable because they're the same, right? And then like, for him, it's about trying new things and being spontaneous. And like one of the biggest moments in our counseling sessions was when I had like scheduled this, he had done like 4 dates already. And then like, I just called him, I texted him one day when he was at work, and I was like, I want to take you on a date tonight. And he was like, okay. And I was like, do you have plans already? And he was like, yeah, but I can change them. He was like, I'd love to go on a date with you. And then like, and that was like right before Mexico. And then when we were in Mexico, he was like, why did it take you so long to ask me on the date? And I said, I thought you would think it was cheesy. That was the movie night. He goes, I don't care what you asked me to do. I just want to spend time with you. Like, isolated time. And it meant so much to me that you actually planned it and I didn't have to do anything, you know? Because Alex is definitely the planner in our relationship. I know that probably seems hard to believe, but he just really is. And so in counseling, you know, the counselor was like, he always asked each of us, like, what's something the other person did that really meant a lot to you? And Alex was like, I just was blown away that, like, Peter took control of the situation and texted me and was like, you know, what do you want to do? And, like, until then, I didn't really know that stuff is that important to him, you know? And that's where, like, when you talk about communicating, it's not just like when you say, well, I feel that when you said those things that's not communication. Communication is asking people for what you need, you know? And I think that is so important. I think that, oh my God, I thought that was a rabbit by the side of the road about to jump out at me, but it wasn't. It was a little trash bag or something. But I think those are the things that communication, you know, is like so key to, you know, and I think those are the pieces of a relationship that, you know, that was just a neat moment tonight for us. And you guys, you know, you see me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. So I have really been learning to just shut my mouth and allow Alex to talk and for me to listen. And that has been like, like, we'll be in counseling sessions and like Alex will be talking about how he feels or talking about like, you know, something that's gone on in his life from his past that he's sharing. And I will want to jump in and the counselor will look at me and go, like that. And it has been really good for me, you know? It's been really good for me to shut my mouth. Now, like, I'm making this very one-sided and acting like I've got all the shit to work on Alex. He has got his own shit to work on for this marriage trust, okay? But that's his side, and he's not wanting to do a vlog. Although today, this was so weird. He texted me, and he said, I have a video idea that you and I could do together. And I was like, well, what is it? He like, I was like, that's a really good idea. And he was like, yeah, I think I want to be in some more of your videos. And I was like, oh, well, this is a change. And, you know, he just doesn't like to be surprised, like with the vlog. When I go, okay, we're vlogging, he doesn't like that. But like if I say to him, hey, would you do a video with me like sometime this weekend? He'll be like, yeah, let's do it on Saturday. Then like he can kind of like emotionally prepare for it. But I also forget that he's not like a YouTuber. He doesn't do this gig every day, you know? But that meant so much to me. And I think like, what's the 5-for-1 rule? Like for every negative thing that somebody does, you have to do 5 things to replace it. And you know, it's that whole like love tank thing, which I used to laugh my ass off at. I mean, I really did. This dude is running at 2 o'clock in the morning. Are you kidding me? On the side of the road? Jeez. God, I wish I had that kind of stamina. But anyway, I used to laugh about that whole like love tank thing, but I think it's really true, you know, like I think you really do have to constantly do things, you know, to like, I don't know, it's like interesting, like Alex, like, okay, my ex and I were very romantic towards each other. I mean, always leaving love notes, and I mean, and look, and it didn't last, you know. God, I was blindsided by some shit in that. But you know, like, constantly doing stuff, you know, like, I remember okay, so we went to New York, my ex and I, and we stayed at the W Hotel in Times Square. And at this point, I was working about 70 hours a week. And we came back on a Saturday night, and I had to work on Sunday all day in my office. And at the W Hotel, they have these things called wonderful beds. And they were like it was just like all of these feather beds, and it was just the most comfortable bed I'd ever slept in. Well, while I was at work that day at my office, I like literally had to be at my office at like 9, and I got home at like 7. When I came home, like, he had it all low lit with this like lounge music playing in the bedroom, and he was like, he had like gone out and bought all of this bedding and feather beds and stuff, and then he even had like a little note card written on the bed, and it said, welcome to your wonderful bed, thank you for your stay at the W Hotel, or something. It was so cute. But you know, like, the thing is with he and I was like, we were great friends, you know? We really were. He was my best friend. Like, when we broke up, I was really sad that, like, but I wasn't sad about the lack of intimacy part, because that wasn't really there. It hadn't been. I mean, to be honest with you, we hadn't had sex in months. Many months. 6 to 9 months. 10 months, maybe even. And had gone on some very romantic trips, Cancun, Dominican Republic, within that time, and never once, you know? And I think I kind of pushed it to the back of my head that it wasn't a problem when it really was a problem, that I didn't even want to lay in a bed and make out with my husband. Put the sex away for a second. Just want to, my boyfriend, lay down and make out with my boyfriend, that we'd rather get treats and watch movies in the room. I mean, we were best friends. We were more than best friends. We were like, you know, we were best friends that were in love with each other. I was in love with him very much, but I don't know, like something changed, and he felt the same way towards me. But he would always bring up, like, we're not having sex, don't you think this is a problem? And I'd be like, no. And he'd be like, well, this is where I don't know if I'm like helping people or if I'm like causing more harm when I'm dishonest, or people are like, Peter, I don't really want to know that stuff. But he'd be like, we haven't had sex in like 8 months. Are you gonna tell me that you haven't masturbated in 8 months? And I would be like, I mean, I think these are real shit topics to talk about. I mean, I don't think people talk about this stuff enough, you know? And this is me owning my truth. And I would be like, I mean, sometimes maybe, but not really. I don't really have a sex drive anymore. I was masturbating all the time. And, you know, the reality is I didn't want to have sex with him. And I don't know. I always said, you know, in that relationship, that I think that if we had gotten into marriage counseling 3 or 4 years before, that we would have worked through it. I really do. And each of my relationships started with passion. So, you know, it wasn't like we couldn't have the passion in the relationship. Like, that should be there, you know? Alex and I is always a timing thing. Like, you know, he came home today, like I asked him, I said, do you want, like, this is so embarrassing. This is how I asked it. Like, I'm getting on a live stream, do you care? And if he cares, if you know what I mean, he'll say, could you maybe go in late? That means it's time to have romance, okay? Like when he comes home. But he said, I want to shave my face. I want to take a long shower. I want to do because he does all these treatments on his hair. He was like, I want to do some treatments on my hair and watch Game of Thrones and go to bed. He was like, do as long a live stream as you want. I was like, okay, no romance tonight. But you know, like a lot of times he worked 12 hours. My husband works 12 hours on Mondays, you know? And I think a lot of things is timing and people being tired and all that kind of stuff. This is the nitty gritty of relationships that people don't talk about. And talk about this shit on reality shows. They need to. We need to talk about this stuff, you know? I'm tired of going with all my girlfriends to the pool and out to lunch, and they're like, oh, we have sex 3 times a day. And I'm like, you've been together 11 years. You're still having sex 3 times a day. Oh my God, it's so good. It gets better each time. I'm like, that is such horseshit, right? And then a year later, they're getting divorced, and they're like, we hadn't had sex in 2 years. And I'm like, you said you were having sex every day 3 times a day. I lied. I was embarrassed. I'm like, you made me feel like I was less than because you were having sex 3 times a day. I thought something was wrong with my marriage and we were having sex 3 times a week. You were having sex 3 times a week? Yes, isn't that normal? We didn't have sex for 2 years. I mean, these people, it just kills me. We always compare our relationships to somebody else's, you know? It's like, and it's not even about that. It's just about like the intimacy. I think sometimes it's more intimate just to lay there and talk like we did tonight, you know? And, unless you're okay being in the relationship where you're just friends. You know, I mean, I don't know. My ex and I, maybe I should never have rocked the boat. I mean, he looked at me one day and said, it's over. I can't remember how he said it to me, and I said, I think it's over. But, you know, I think what I meant was over was the passion. You know, I mean, there have been times in my life that I would have been totally fine living for the rest of my life with my best friend, you know? I mean, I would have been totally fine with that if he and I had stayed together. There just were so many problems at that point. With his stuff that's his story to tell, not mine, but it was affecting our relationship. But you know, it's like, I don't know, I just feel like do you call it settling? I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there watching this video going, well, my husband and I don't have sex, but I feel really happy and I don't really want to have sex. But I don't know, ask your husband, does he have a problem with it? If he doesn't, and you guys are okay with that, then go on through merry way, you know? Just because I say that I feel like it's necessary to my marriage doesn't mean, I do think it's necessary to a marriage. I will say that. To a passionate, loving marriage, I do think it's important. But that doesn't mean that everybody has to agree with me. You know, people write different rules. I have some friends of mine that are swingers that it totally works for them, okay? Not me. People, I think, want to put all kinds of weirdo sexual shit on gay people when my husband and I are probably 2 of the most traditionally minded people you've ever met, and pretty boring and vanilla when it comes to it. But, you know, I guess whatever rules you write about your relationship, it's got to work for you. And if it does work for you, then I think that's great, you know? But I think that's where the communication comes into, and you say, okay, like, what are we doing here? You know, like, are we both okay with this? Are we happy with where things are at, or do we need to change it up? You know? But don't ever compare your relationship to somebody else's. Not mine, definitely. Not your girlfriend's, because they fucking lie. You know? Not anything you see on TV, because that's just a lie straight from the pit of hell. You know, none of it. It's just, you know, your relationship is your journey, and that's what you're in, and make it the best that you can between you and the person that you're with. I have for so many years compared I said this is going to be a short vlog, and here I've gone on 24 minutes. I had, for years, before we got into marriage counseling, which my husband was the one that pushed. We were sitting there the other day, and I said something about me asking for marriage counseling. He goes, He goes, I've been asking, almost begging for 3 years for us to go to communicate better with each other. And, so, we'll see what happens. I love going, I really do. I never thought I would say that. You know, like 2 weeks ago, I said I just didn't want to go. Well, I mean, that was me talking a lot about my mom and grief situations. And I went in there and I said to him, and this is where, like, I feel like I have to be, like, I try not to be any different on camera than I would be in real life. I went in there and I said, I gotta be honest with you. He goes, what? And I said, I don't want to be here today. He's like, that's okay. He's like, what is it you don't want to talk about? Oh my God, I need to talk about my mom, and I don't want to talk about my mom. You know, like, but I love the marriage counseling sessions. I don't know. The first one we left, I will say it was tense. The second one we left, I would say the tension was cut in half. Now we go out to dinner afterwards. Sometimes we romance it up, even after marriage counseling sessions. So, I don't know. It doesn't guarantee that we'll be married happily forever, but I hope so. I feel like that bug is still crawling all over me. It's like that movie Ants. I have got to get some serious reading done tomorrow. I was thinking about that tonight. I'm like, I have to listen to this audiobook, and I am in no mood to listen to it tonight. I like it, but I'm just not in the mood to listen to it tonight. Do you guys ever feel like that? This kills me. I put this rant video up today about shopping. People do not know that I am joking in those videos. Like, seriously. Like, this guy wrote on there, I think these are probably pretty first world problems. About 6 million people would trade their life with you. I'm like, it's a joke, dude. I think that's going to be my video tomorrow. Serious commenters. Anyway, my diet's going okay. It's boring. I'm just counting calories. It's like, is it my cheat day yet? Oh, my Lord. Well, all right, you guys. I guess I should listen to my audiobook for at least a half an hour so I can kind of get a little further into it. I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.